My name is Don Lippert. I'm seeking election for the State House of Representatives for North Dakota. First being that it seemed like going through the last session that I didn't see a lot of people of my generation on the floor taking our responsibility for leading the state. I also just felt that I haven't seen any of my legislators come by my house or apartment. Really, I think maybe once over the course of my lifetime have I seen a state legislator there. And I think that needs to change because they're meant to be serving us. And I feel like to do that, we have to have somebody who's engaging with their constituents on a daily, or maybe not daily, but at least monthly basis, hosting town halls, hosting regular meetings so that we can address, so that concerns of everyday North Dakotans can be addressed. From a personal perspective, I grew up, my family moved to Fargo from a small town farm outside of Tulna, North Dakota. We moved during the recession of the 80s, so I'm familiar with what it looks like to grow up in not great economic times. And past that, also just growing up over the time period that I have, in my generation, we started off in grade school, we were just doing pencil and paper with everything. We got word processors, and then you got computers, and then suddenly the internet, and now all of a sudden AI is in our lives. And I feel like with all of that experience of changing, evolving scenery, I really do feel like myself and my generation have a unique perspective on how to adjust to changing times. And right now, with everything that's come with the change in rising costs in housing, rising costs in energy production, as well as AI and how that's going to reshape our nation and our state, I feel like we need people who are willing to and able to adjust in real time to those situations and respond accordingly. From a professional standpoint, I've done so many different types of jobs. I've worked in restaurants, I've worked in retail, I've worked in call centers. I currently work on the floor of a manufacturing facility as an assembly worker in an industrial setting. I've done a lot of different jobs, and I, again, feel like that variety of perspectives in those different industries helps me kind of look at everything from a wider lens than what we often get in legislators. And I feel like that's going to serve me well going forward. I think the number one priority for me is going to be addressing the childcare shortage in the state. I know that has been something that the legislature has tried to address a number of times. There was some legislation passed 2 sessions ago to try to address it, but it didn't attack it fully. And one thing that I have learned over the course of all my time in different businesses is that if you are truly dealing with a crisis, you have to be willing to take a bold step. You have to be willing to put forth not just like what you think you can get by with, but actually go further than that in order to actually accomplish the goal that you're looking for. And I think that's what we need to do, whether that's building new facilities, which I understand is needed, or introducing different ways of incentivizing employers to have the ability or the capacity to hire new employees and retain them over longer periods of time. But I think that's number one, because without addressing that shortage, we run into the shortage of workers in every industry. And as business owners who are in the chamber, I'm sure that it would be beneficial for you guys to have more workers available, especially workers of high skill who maybe are out of the workforce because they can't afford childcare or they can't find it at all. Secondly, I think I would address the issue of affordable housing. One thing that I've noticed is that every affordable housing, especially living here in Fargo primarily, all the affordable housing context is in relation to building more apartments, which is great, but most of the apartments that are getting built these days are starting with rents around $1,800 an hour or $1,800 a month. It just doesn't make sense. Not a lot of, if you're a single person, $1,800 a month is not really an affordable price tag, I do think that we could also, instead of focusing on, we have a large number of upscale developments for housing, for single-family houses, but I think we should look at possibly building some smaller scale housing, making, individual homeowners more accessible. Rather than having the entry-level price for a new home being in a $600,000 range, let's bring it down. Let's make some neighborhoods again so that people can afford to live in houses versus having to be in apartments where quite frankly, with the rents, people struggle to find down payments. So to buy a new house.